Let's get to the touch part. Edwin Kakofi is
I
here.
agree with that.
Edwin, how are you doing?
Hi, Nathan. I'm good. How about you?
Yeah,
guys?
I'm all right. The guys are debating heavily. VAR, red card. Anyway, we'll get into talks of red card because in the Cameroon-Guinea game, there was an incident. But let's talk about Senegal and the Gambia. There are a few things you want to show us.
Yeah, I enjoyed your conversation on the red card, and I'll come to that in a bit. But I want to start with the first goal that Senegal scored. Safo mentioned that Gambia were not too bad offensively. However, it was their defensive issues that cost them in this game. So the first goal, I'd like us to take a look at it. And right from this first image, there's a huge problem. And I wonder if anyone...
This is Senegal in possession.
This is Senegal in possession in white.
Yes.
There's a huge problem there. And I wonder if anyone can notice. Our viewers at home, can you notice it?
A big problem. Yeah, there's the man up there who's very free.
This is Sadio Mane. You do not leave Sadio Mane so alone, especially on the left wing. And then this is Janko, the right back for Gambia. At one point, at no point did he look back to check where Sadio Mane was. So let's take a look at how the rest of the game.
Okay, all right.
Let's go forward.
Run it.
Okay, so keep an eye on Mane and Janko as the possession goes on. So as the ball gets here, Janko has found his way into the 6-yard box, leaving Sadio Mane all alone over here. And what does is that with 3 players here, Mane, who is the Gambian midfielder, notices that Sadio Mane is all on his own down this side.
Okay.
Obviously, he's going to gravitate to Sadio Mane. What is it allows Pap Gay to have clear space here to take the shot. So this is comical defending from Gambia. They let 3 players go
on the line. What are they doing on the line?
I'll take this back a little bit so that we go here.
Yes. All right.
Stop it right here. These 3 players here, every one of them, these 3 players, let me highlight them. Or 4 actually.
4 players, yes.
Every one of them is focused on Sadio Mane.
Okay.
Not one of them is looking in this direction at Pap Gay. Not one of them is covering this area. This defender over here, his attention is on this player.
Okay.
So there's no way he's going to leave his area of marking to go and try and get Pap Gay. So this leaves Pap Gay with so much space, Mane with so much space to pass into.
Oh, wow.
And obviously, Sadio Mane has a few options to get to. He can either fire the ball into this space for Gay to get to, fire the ball into this place closer to the player, or fire the ball here. And this is where knowledge of your teammates comes in.
Okay.
He understands that Pap Gay is left-footed. Putting it here puts him at a disadvantage. It leaves him having to hit it with his right foot.
And that won't work.
That won't work properly. So putting it closer to him allows him to angle his body in a way where he can hit it first time. So let's go on. Take a look at Pap Gay in this situation.
There you have it. Okay.
We'll come back to it.
Okay, so I think it's running now. Okay.
Then,
I think we can let it run.
Yeah, we can let it run. See,
then
he angles his body left-hand side, and he's able to take the shot with his left foot straight into the back of the net.
Wow. So clearly, Gambia's defense all over the place.
Really poor in that move. Allowed too much space for Mane, too much space for Pap Gay, and there was no way they were going to stop that shot. Okay. Let's go to our next point in this game, the red card for Gambia.
Yes.
This was a huge talking point. I was really enjoying the discussions we were doing. So this is the sequence that led to the red card. And this is the tackle from behind, as Sedi describes it. We'll get a closer look at it.
Okay.
And I feel Adams here, who is the player who makes the tackle,
Yes.
is very, very hard done by. Very, very unfortunate in this case.
Okay.
This was not a premeditated tackle. Obviously, he was trying to step in a position. Unfortunately, he found the back of his player's ankle.
Okay.
And while the referee gave a yellow card, I was completely in agreement with the yellow card decision, because I thought that in such a situation, this is an accident. He didn't mean to make the tackle. It was a very dangerous tackle, no doubt about it, as we can see.
But don't you think the decision turns on that point that it is dangerous?
It is dangerous, but not when the player doesn't mean to make that tackle. You are playing football. You are trying to step somewhere, and unfortunately, your opponent's foot is in the way. You can't say that it wasn't premeditated. It wasn't a dangerous tackle that resulted from the intentions of the player. So I think he was hard down by. But I accept the decision, and we'll get to a reason in the next game to show why I accept the decision.
It leads me to something that's usually said when the VAR debates are had. I've listened to a lot of ex-players say that, in their opinion, there needs to be a former player in that VAR room, breaking some of these nuances down to the officials and say that, look at that. He agreed, he stepped on the player. But you can tell, this is not deliberate, this is accidental. I don't know what, some people believe that ex-players need to be in there to highlight some of these nuances, and then you can give better. So, for example, it is true, he stepped on the player. It wasn't deliberate. So he gave a yellow card as a warning that don't try that next time. Well, you seem to disagree.
No, you see, the moment it goes into slow-mo, like Safo said, it just increases the gravity of everything. And look at the magnification of that particular one. You see, when it's magnified, you see it as an extremely bad tackle from Mars, not even Earth, but just because he strolled into the player.
But you stand by the decision.
I still stand by it. If you were not going to give a red card, then a yellow card should not even be on the table.
I see.
Once it's an accident, we consider it an accident, and then we move on. A lot of players have got injured from accidents. One of the most recent being, I think, the collarbone man, Timikas.
Oh, okay. But you see, I would give you an example. You see, yet again, not to bore you with legalese, there's something called strict liability offense, where we do not care about your intention, whether it was intentional or not. So far as there is the offense, they'll give you the card. An example will be Son and Gomez, Everton and Gomez's injury was, Son didn't do it on purpose. But then the ramification was nasty. Gomez was out for almost a year, straight red. So I would understand based on that. But then that's when, like he said, ex-players coming, because with this thing, the ball was not even in play. It was not even in play. And
the ball was in play. Was the ball in play?
So
play was in
motion. But he was not going for the ball. I mean, he had already passed the ball.
Okay.
So the ball was not... He was not going for a ball as at that time. That's what I meant by the ball was not in place. So an ex-player will look at this and will tell you that, come on, some of these things here, I get the argument about it's a dangerous place, but these kind of things can be overlooked because, like I said, you're an arbiter. Sometimes arbiters use discretion, irrespective of the rule.
So you felt the referee
should have used. And I actually thought he used his discretion, but then
giving a yellow card.
But then what VAR does is, again, not to bore you with legalese, there's legal positivism where you need to go by the letter. If the law says it's dangerous, red, nothing else.
I see.
So, quick one.
So let's move on to Senegal's second goal.
Okay,
You mentioned players who have been in the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, and how they will respond when they come back to the African continent. One player you forgot to mention was Kalidou Koulibaly.
Kalidou Koulibaly, yes.
And he played a huge role in Senegal's second goal. Take a look at this movement. Let's let it go a little bit more. And then here, right here. In this situation, I think the Gambia are set up really well. The midfield is set up really well. So it leaves Koulibaly, who is our player right here, with a few options. Any defender, your average classic defender, is left with a few options to make a pass.
Okay.
Either he goes back here to his teammates, he comes down here, or in extreme cases, back to the goalkeeper. this is why it's important for you to have a centre back who can pick a pass, who can step into midfield and pick a pass. With such a midfielder, now your options, the options available for him are this pass right here, this pass right here, and this pass right here.
Okay.
So with this, you have Ismail Assar in this position. You have Lamine Camara in this position. If Koulibaly is able to find a pass to one of these two, it takes out these three players immediately. So which pass does he go for? He finds Ismail Assar in a very good position, taking out the three midfielders who were marking him and Lamine Camara. This allows Camara to continue his move into the penalty box. And obviously, it's a really good strike from him to find the back of the nets. So a really well-worked move. Started from the centre-back because he was able to remain calm, keep his composure, and pick out the right pass to his teammates.
Interesting. So having a defender who can pass the ball is extremely important.
It's extremely important. And it's an attribute that a lot of the huge coaches are looking for a lot more these days. Pep Guardiola, has that in Manuel Akanji and Ruben Diaz. And
Klopp has Virgil van Dijk.
Yeah, and John Stones as well. Klopp has Virgil van Dijk. Pochettino has Thiago Silva. A lot of these managers are looking for defenders who can not only do their classic job of defending, but can also step up into midfield and create an extra midfielder, an extra playmaker who can find the passes in between the lines.
Interesting. How I wish the Black Stars would have.
We have that in Mo Salih.
Mo Salih, but of course he's a little rusty. To be fair, I mean that is true. He's the best passer out of the back the team has.
He tried on Sunday, except all the passes were wayward.
Anyway, Edwin, so let's move on to. I don't know whether you want to highlight something else.
Yeah, Senegal's final goal. I think we'll be quick with this one because it was a fantastic goal. But I would like to highlight the defending by the Gambia again.
So the Gambia's defending. Tom St. Feet would be very upset.
So I'd like to stop it here. Again, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 Gambian defenders.
That's a 5-on.
5-on-3.
5-on-3.
Yes.
If you want to stretch it, a 5-on-4. But
who are all drawn towards these 3 players, which obviously leaves our star man here, Lamine Camara, on his own.
Wow.
And this is Barrow, who is supposed to be the defensive midfielder, the holding midfielder, the one keeping an eye on his opponent. And look at where his eyes are facing. At no point does he look at Camara, even though he's supposed to be marking this area. So that leaves Camara with so much space to operate from. And guess where, after a lovely piece of skill, by the way, guess where the ball ends up? He is calling for the ball. At no point does Barrow see this as a threat. So he keeps focusing on where the ball is, not aware of his surroundings, not aware of what danger might be around him. And obviously a fantastic goal from Kamara. That's a wonderful finish, by the way.
That's